We're on the record in cause number 327632, the state of Texas versus Carl Douglas Chopin. Mr. Chopin, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Chopin, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chopin, how are you doing?
Good. What about you?
I'm doing good, and thanks for asking. And Mr. Chopin, I have before me an information that alleged that on or about January 20th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon. Mr. Chopin, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Chopin, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are actually guilty?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Chopin, prior to entering this guilty plea, you were given the judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And in the explanation, you were given three options. One option was you can hire an attorney. The second option was if you do not have enough money to hire an attorney, you may request an attorney to be appointed to represent you. And your third option was you could represent yourself. And you have chosen to waive your right to an attorney and to represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Prior to talking to the state assistant district attorney, which is the prosecutor in this case, or who is the prosecutor in this case, you signed a waiver of counsel for purposes of entering your guilty plea. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that waiver of counsel is included in State's Exhibit number 1, which is the misdemeanor plea admonishment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, I have the State's Exhibit number 1 before me, misdemeanor plea admonishment on page 1 of this document. It states that this is a Class A misdemeanor. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And on page 2 of this document, there are two sets of initials on this document, and those initials are CC. Did you place your initials on page 2 of this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that says defendant that purports to be yours. It says Carl Chopin. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature above the line that says defendant, and that signature is Carl Chopin. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And there are two boxes that are checked. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Second box states that you're waiving, which means that you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir, I did.
And everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Chopin, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State's Exhibit number 1 is a document that have your initials on page 2 and your signature on page 3. The state would like to use this document as evidence against you in your case. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence in your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Chopin, is there any evidence that you are currently incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Mr. Chopin, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, Do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, it's for 60 days, credit for time served, tax and retire of the court cost.
Mr. Chopin, the state is offering that you serve 60 days in the Jefferson County Jail on this case. You've already served 60 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you will not have to serve any more time in jail on this case because you will be given credit for time served. If you owe any court costs, you will not have to pay that court cost either because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Now, Mr. Chopin, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chopin, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Chopin, because this is a unlawfully carrying a weapon conviction, I must read to you, well, in accordance with the Texas Administrative Code, section 176.1, the court hereby admonish you of the following. Please, okay, number one, you are by entry of order of judgment ineligible to, under Texas law, to possess a firearm or ammunition. Number two, beginning now, if you possess a firearm or ammunition, it could lead to charges against you. If you have questions about how long you will be ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, you should consult an attorney. Number three, under Texas Penal Code section 46.01, subsection 3, A, firearm means any device designed, made, or adapted to expel a projectile through a barrel by using the energy generated by an explosion or burning substance, or any device readily convertible to that use. B, firearm does not include a firearm that may have as an integral part a folding knife, blade, or other characteristics of weapons made illegal by Penal Code Chapter 46, and that is one, an antique or curio firearm manufactured before 1899, or two, a replica of an antique or curio firearm manufactured before 1899, but only if the replica does not use rimfire or centerfire ammunition. The statutes listed below are a starting point for ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. For more information about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or for more information on how long your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition lasts, the court recommends you contact an attorney. Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.292, Magistrate Orders for Emergency Protection. Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 42.0131, Notice for persons convicted of misdemeanors involving family violence. Penal Code, Section 46.02, Unlawful Carrying Weapons. Penal Code, Section 46.04, Unlawful Possession of Firearm. Penal Code, Section 25.07, Violation of certain court orders or conditions of bond in a family violence, child abuse or neglect, sexual assault or abuse, indecent assault, stalking, or trafficking case. Family Code Section 85.026, warning on protective order. Mr. Chopin, the bailiff will give you a copy of this admonishment, and you can keep that for yourself. At this time, Mr. Chopin, this concludes your case. Please have a good day and follow the bailiff.